Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome here to the Tolerance Break podcast. The podcast where I'm either breaking my tolerance break or going on one. And today's first guest, me. Yo, what is up, everybody? This is gonna be my official first time trying to record like a podcast style thing. I used to do a thing where every day we'll talk we'll talk about it another time. You're gonna be hearing random things from my soundboard occasionally, but yeah. Welcome here to Tolerance Break. And today we are actually starting the tolerance break. We're gonna call this episode. We're gonna call it chemical clean out. Because when you are like me, sometimes you just gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm laughing too. Don't worry. I'm laughing too. And if you're wondering already, what is this obstructing the view? It's my little cheat sheet. I want to make sure I'm ready for you guys. That sounds weird. But, yeah. Uh, I basically just kind of wanted to talk about, like some positive reasons why you should do that kind of thing. And just, like, maybe some benefits and things about it, I guess. Because, you know, it's something that's not talked about enough, I think, because when I got into the world of weed, I know YouTube's weird in the first couple minutes of podcasts or videos, but when I first started that, or even when I like drank or anything like that, nobody told me that when I was a kid that I was gonna have a superhuman tolerance to stuff like that. Shout out to mom. She was apparently, if I'm remembering right, when we were like in school, uh, she told us that she was like her directed driver when she would hang out with her friends. Directed driver, is that the right word? I don't think it is. But yeah, I just basically wanted to have more of an outlet to kind of explore this kind of stuff. Not just like a tolerance break itself. And I guess to kind of give some context, um, not everybody in my family has trouble with addiction and stuff like that. I don't really know about every individual in my family. Speaking of family, if anybody's watching this from my family, if I am ever making a reference out loud, um, number one, ask yourself the question, why am I watching this? And I am your father, or your mother, or your stepfather, or your stepmother. I have all of them. um, but yes, if you're watching this to my older family, please don't. Makes me intensely uncomfortable, and I will continue to do this and make myself uncomfortable. Um, but if you choose to stick around, well, you wanted a ticket into my world. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I've gotten to that point. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, we're going on chemical clean out till Christmas, because what I was saying earlier is that a lot of people do not keep in mind the whole tolerance thing, and they will let it snowball into months and months and months of doing one thing every single day. Are you hearing context of where I had an issue? And this is why I do little tally breaks. Yes, that is the issue. When I first got to be 21, I found this special fun stuff called weed. And basically, I'm not gonna lie, for like the first like literal probably 6 months, okay, year. Listen, every addict that you talk to, including myself, will say that shit. But here's the thing. What was I even saying? Anyways, the thing that I didn't realize when I was like 6 months deep into not deep in my podcasts, or like into smoking every day or whatever, is I didn't realize I just wasn't feeling the effects of what I was buying. You know what I'm saying? And purely from a financial standpoint, that just turns into, what are we doing here? We are just wasting money. And so that was like realization number one. Number two was, yeah, money. I'm not feeling the effects. I'm not gonna break everything down into steps. I'm just not. Um, but I know that from people in my family in the past that have struggled from this. Like I was saying, I'm not saying anyone in my family has anything. I'm just saying I have an issue and I notice it. Um, but there's a reason why. Like I was saying, I do little tolerance breaks. But tonight I figured, because I've had this podcast idea in the back of my mind for a long time, I was like, you know what? Tonight will be the good night to start the first episode. It just feels like it is, you know? It just feels like it is. Maybe because I'm going on one. But if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, what do I do to get on a tolerance break? It's so hard. And honestly, for me, one addiction that I am constantly never able to handle is food. Um, my food addiction is where all of my other addictions begin, right? When I come home and I am starting a tolerance break, though, what I like to think and do is I need to take all food that I normally would munchy munchy on, and I have to take it away. I have to. Um, or else it will break me into a different break. You catch my drift. You have to change your habits. You have to change your habits because if you come home and you treat your body to every normal amenity that you normally have, I think a lot of people forget that, yeah, you're gonna break a lot easier for something that you're setting yourself up to break for. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know. I feel kind of crazy sometimes talking about this stuff because I'm like, obviously this is obvious, but then I remember that to myself, I came to a realization of having these thoughts. So, I don't know, maybe it's not so crazy to think out loud. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the biggest effect it has on me for doing a tolerance break is honestly just giving myself the option to kind of hear myself out. Because when I have gotten to the modes in the past where I'm admittedly puffing a little bit too much, one thing that I've learned was that I was trying to just silence myself. And you really shouldn't do that, of course. Like I was saying, this podcast, me turning into an adult, this is just a learning. And take this as learning for yourself too. I mean, like I was saying, it's a lot of changing your environment to fit what you actually need. Because, yeah, I don't know. You put 18 burritos in front of me that were made by a gourmet chef. I'm gonna break and eat those burritos and get high as balls while I eat those burritos. But, if, well, those burritos are gone, and that video game that I really like to play that isn't enjoyable high, maybe I do that instead of getting myself burritos. You catch my drift? You catch my drift? I don't know. Um, but yeah, honestly, a lot of the time recently, I have I been feeling not mental clarity? I haven't been not feeling it, I guess. I don't know. For me, I feel like personally, my body like knows when I've been overdone or when I need to chill out. Cause like normally for myself, because I am a bigger boy, um, chemical clean out takes normally longer than 2 weeks. But that only happens the only time I went for the full clean out was back earlier last year when I did a 6 month break because I did it every day for like a year. And honestly, I probably got to around month four, and I honestly was thinking to myself, I was like, Feeling pretty good, but I want to go longer. And I just wanted to see if there would be different mental clarity, honestly. And I think you get it to a degree. And remember, everybody that's listening to me right now, if there is anyone, what I'm saying applies to myself. And if it does apply to you, that is cool. Make sure you're asking a professional person after you're done listening to see what's going on. Actually, you know what I'm saying? Um, but sorry if I'm having trouble keeping up topic to topic. Just know I have ADHD, just like you who clicked on this podcast. But yeah, it's important to do a tolerance break every now and then because, like I was saying, I think I can feel my body like when it's like it's time, and normally I do like honestly probably like I'll come home and before bed I'll take a couple little zoops and then go to bed. I don't do it every night. I mean, if I'm being real, probably more than not. So I probably take off about 2 to 3 days a week. The rest of the night I'm just kind of doing what I do. But like I was saying, been a couple weeks of doing that, and now I'm feeling the chemical cleanout, the tolerance break. Chemical cleanout's not a bad name for a podcast either. Thinks of making other podcasts while on the podcast. But yeah. And so I was just feeling that recently. I'm like, let's do it. Um, and also whenever I do a little tolly wally break, a little tolerance break, something else that I've noticed is that I actually started living healthier in general, and everyone probably is hearing that. No, I gotta stop second guessing myself. But yeah, and I just like I noticed everything is starting to go a bit kind of smoother, cleaner, and yeah, I mean obviously everything overall is better if your body is at 100% in every area all the time. Um, and honestly, I think the reason why I also like to do tolerance breaks is sometimes you get to a point where you just feel out of control. And I've noticed that for myself and I've acted accordingly. Same thing goes for the good old alcohol. I always try to put that away. That one scares me a lot too. Basically, without getting into it too much, not is there just more alky boys in my family. Um, most of the time, from my knowledge, you know what I'm saying. From my knowledge, it's always been the alky boys in my family that kept it going. If anybody was on anything, um, but yeah, no, today has been rough because like here's the crazy thing is like so I work in a government building, so by technicality, um and not even technicality, I just don't do any shit like that there. But when I was working at Dollar General, I got up to a little bit of mischief. All right, listen, but I only did it when I could handle it. Um, where was that going? Oh yeah, and so honestly, it's crazy because of just how your body reacts to your brain. I think. Because today at work, um, I haven't thought about doing that at work, and I don't. But today was the first time in a while where I was sitting down. I was just saying, man, if I could right now, and that was just me being in preparation for now. Like I was saying, I think one thing though for myself that is just really telling is I have to be able to do all these things to myself though, and put these things in line myself, because the second another person has tried to like impose their beliefs, their wants, and all this stuff, it like destroys everything for me. I don't know if that makes sense. But holy shit, like when I hear someone looking at me and they're like they see me growing and doing good things. They're like, "Hell yeah, brother. Just keep doing all the correct things correctly." Look at that person and I'm here to punch. Like, it makes me so mad. It's like, stay in your lane. All right? Stay in your lane. Listen, tell me congratulations at the end. Okay, listen, don't congratulate me for something I haven't even done yet. Oh, you did it another day? Wow, good on you. At the end, it matters. So that's how I speak to myself. A classic reason of why therapy is good. Um, don't speak to yourself like that. It is very not nice. Problems are gonna happen. Problems are gonna happen. The podcast just stopped recording for half of a second. But yeah, dude, it's gotta be you. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be you. I've also been listening to, and this is it's gonna make sense. So earlier this year in the summertime, I started listening to a podcast called Bad Friends because normally the entire years that I've been living and stuff, I've only really been into like the whole YouTuber crowd of people. And recently, I got into the Bad Friends, started watching some other people, and one thing that is pretty significant in all these people, besides Bert Kreischer, is probably tolerance. Probably drinking. Mainly, mainly what is like, I guess, quote unquote, like, or what I have been gathering from this is just like, I don't know. Everybody does it a different way, and because I've thought about like, why don't I just quote unquote better myself? Why don't I just give it all up for the better? And the thing is like I'm not at that point. Like as far as like my brain health goes, like I feel fine right now. I don't want to change my personality. I don't want to change about how I am. And that's why I guess put breaks into my schedule for things like this. It's why I keep myself busy doing games, podcasts, all that stuff. It really is why I do all of that because I know that the second I'm left to my own devices, then I'm going to be stuck on my devices. Whether that's my pen, whether that's this giant computer screen, or these two, whether that's the TV that's behind me. So like we got like so many things. It's like yeah, uh, it's just when you the only thing more annoying than being an addict is being a self-aware one. Because oh my god, man, for myself, like I was saying, for myself personally, when man, like I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. I'm not looking at it, but listen, you know how like in James Bond, you know they just actually just did this with AI, with like the internet router. You can like see in James Bond like where the people are, what they're doing and stuff. That's what my brain was just doing with this. This is where I keep all the good stuff. Yeah. Um. Shout out. Blick. But man, yeah. So like I was saying, man, let's just reel it back. We need that chemical clean out every now and then. We definitely need it. You know what I'm saying? It's it's definitely also like I think one thing that's also another inkling to me is just like anger issues. And not the whole withdrawal symptoms, but it's just like if I'm able to be fully boofed up, fully on the goofy gas, and I'm still getting angry I'm still letting problems and anger and things persist, that's when I'm like, okay, the thing that you do every night to relax yourself, maybe not. Maybe not tonight. And that's where normally my 2 to 3 days and breaks go in the middle of things, right? So yeah, I don't know. For myself and many others alike, it's it's a battle, you know. Um, Definitely is a battle because like I was saying basically earlier about the whole basically changing your environment and stuff. For me, like I was saying, like it's a sense of control because I think the second that you're like, oh, when you're like having issues, obviously you can have that look when you're looking at your thing of pleasure, whether that's video games, I guess a vape or weed or drinking, whatever it is, whatever your little thing is, food. Um, for me at least, it's like if I like look at that thing like more than like 4 times in a row, like, and I want it, that's when I'm like, okay, something animalistic inside of me needs to cool down. Okay? Something animalistic inside of me needs to chill the fuck out. Because obviously, I want something. And I need to not give it to myself. And if I'm able to do that, no one else should need to tell me what to do. Dude, oh my god. I think, honestly, I don't know what made that, like, be how my mind works. But oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like people don't talk about that. But like, I wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. I wish I could be the guy that hears motivation from like people I know in real life, and I wish I could just keep going. Be like, yeah, Dad, I'm having a great time. I wish that could be me because every single time somebody chirps in my ear when I'm doing something good, it's like, did you really need to chirp in? Examine that I'm doing well. Now, some of the attention of me doing good is feeling, honestly, kind of weird because whatever situation I'm in, I obviously probably don't want to talk about it. So, oh, you're going to tell me I'm doing good with something I'm uncomfortable with. I never asked you for like a saying, an input. Don't tell me. Oh, good by you. No, we're not, I've heard that my whole life. And good for you, for me, has done nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody's got to like find these little things about themselves. Um, and I know for me, I definitely need to. But I think the second I start flying off the rails, yeah, it's definitely when somebody else tries to hold me down. It's kind of like when you would tell your mom as a kid, you'd be like, Mom, calm down. And she looks at you, her entire body turns red. Listen, your mom's hair is red, my mom's hair is red. When the rest of her turned red, but listen, I'm an insane motherfucker, and sometimes I would keep going. um, Fucking, yeah. No, every time, man, like I can remember so many times being a kid, be like, "Ah, I'm so tired of this fucking garbage in my room," and at the end of it, I would finally break and be like, "Oh, I want to clean now." Be halfway done with my room. I remember a couple of times, bro, my parents walking by, me looking back at her as she's saying, "Good job, buddy. Keep on going." I look at her and I think, as soon as you leave these as soon as you get out of my line of sight, I will take my laundry basket that I just folded. I will take the dirty laundry that I just folded, or unfolded and dirtied up. Yeah, I'll take both baskets, dumping both of those on the floor. We're dumping both of those on the floor. All right, listen. We're gonna go get maybe a plate of food, maybe a little drinky drink. We're gonna enjoy ourselves for the rest of the night because we were just told to keep doing the thing we were already doing. We didn't need to hear it again. Why feel the need? Just let me exist and I'll keep going, baby. But the second you try to take this and to put it into your box, to put it into your narrative, that's when I freak the out. That's when I go, hey guy, you don't have an effect on me. What's the point? You know? What's the goddamn point? um, but yeah, man, the mental clarity shit. I mean, I think, like I was saying, for me, the mental clarity comes in with a bit of the anger part because, um, like I was saying, when I'm smoking and I'm still getting angry, that's when it's like, okay, this is supposed to calm you down. Let's get off of this. So when we get back on, we can actually have what I want, which would be the mental weed clarity. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, also just like health wise, of course, it's always good to take a break, right? It's always good to take a break. Because I mean, like, if you have a tolerance like mine, and you also have acid reflux, you see where the two and two add up. Um, but yeah, for me, when it comes to like improving my physicalness and all of that, I don't really think about it too much. I mean, obviously, I think when it comes to something like weed, it's more like physical in the way of eating, right? And then because it's so weird, because like I'll have a ton of caffeine, right? I'll have a ton of caffeine, and then I won't eat the entire day, which I mean, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it, but you give me one little, you give me one of those, and I'm eating everything in sight. But here's the thing, though, that I've kind of been thinking about recently. I'm like, when you're doing smoking, drinking, getting energized for work, even taking melatonin, I don't know if that makes anybody hungry, but when you're doing all that stuff, it's like you only allow yourself to do what you actually want to do, right? Right? Am I crazy for thinking that? Because I'm like, even when it comes to just doing anything, I'm like this. Like, I'll be at work. I've been trying to drink a gallon of water a day. Um, and freaking, I'm gonna have to stop saying that. And basically, new word. Um, when I was working today, for example, I was trying to just. I made my breakfast when I got there. Actually, this is gonna be an example of last week because today was fucking dog shit, dog ass butthole. Um, but yeah, so normally I make my breakfast or whatever at the start, and now I forgot because I'm actually thinking about today and how angry I got. But you see, I guess something that I could take away from that to this is that normally I can chill out at the end of the night, but something I've noticed recently is that the anger's not stopping. Um, but I can stop the anger. But the thing is what gets bad about that is that in 2 minutes, if somebody asks me, "Are you okay?" I could be fully sobbing in tears. I don't know. Like, man, I want to talk about my work experiences. I do, but I can't. I'm not going to. Yeah, man. I gotta say, like, let's just like on some real shit without my notes in front of me. I am annoyed. I want to take a Blinky. I want to eat goldfish, and watch a podcast. And I want to veg out, and I want to do nothing. I want to do that, or like when I play video games. Obviously, like I was saying, we're switching the vibes up and everything, but it even feels good to just say out loud that I want those things. It's because it's like almost giving my brain the idea of the taste. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know what I'm saying. I keep saying keep saying Um, but yeah, God, and also if you're out here watching this, I don't know if this will reach anybody that's like that, but like if you're sitting here watching this and you're like, oh, I feel the same way about certain things and this and this and this. If you feel that way about stuff, um, what I say is don't limit yourself on trying things, but just know where the end of the line is. If you're going to, yeah, you know what? Okay. If life was a fishing pole and you're constantly looking at the store for some new fishing wire, for certain new fishing line, when you're there, you look for the one that fits you. All right, listen, look for the one that fits you, because I think a lot of times I'll jump into it a little too fast, and that line, for some reason in production, it's weird. There was a couple little blips. Huh, that was a bad line. So yeah, everything is like fishing. Yeah, you cast out your line in hopes of luck. You're constantly reeling back. Maybe you need to get some food, put that on the end of your hook. Maybe yourself, throw it back out there. Okay, you're looking good. You're looking good. You're doing good. But if you're not able to reel back and you find yourself drifting out, and when you reel yourself back, you're getting super tangled. You know what I'm saying? You're reeling back and you're getting tangled. You don't want that. It doesn't feel good to be tangled. Because then when everything's tangled, then, oh shit, wait. Now I have to go slow. And there's a couple different options once you get here, right? You can either take the time, take the patience, you can work it out. You can use that same line, but with a fishing line, it gets real complicated. So, for a lot of people, I think this is actually not too bad of a thought line, because it's like you have two options when you're fishing and the line gets super tangled. You could take what would be 3 hours, probably, to untangle this all. So, depends. It really depends on how much does this matter to you, right? And the thing is what a lot of people do is when things get too tangled, they go sober. They just cut the line off and get a new line. What I do for myself is I get a little tangled and then I unwind myself, get a little tangled and I unwind myself. And I believe one day that after my fishing line has turned a different color, I will officially break it off, whatever. But I gotta want that to happen. I don't know. This has been a lot of yapping on a very stressful day. But that's the thing. This is life, baby. This is goddamn life. You can't just hear something and make a decision. You have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing. Once again, parents, if you're listening to this, hey, you're listening to me. This is my thoughts. If you have an issue with my thoughts, that's weird. Um, but yeah, this is back where it comes back to like, I think like if I was given the option to figure things out more, maybe I wouldn't be as so codependent on certain comforting things. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for example, before any weed was introduced to my life, before alcohol was introduced to my life, hell, before even fucking caffeine, uh, my biggest addiction was food. And, man, there's nothing better than mac and cheese. But the thing is I never learned how to regulate myself with food, and that has kind of led into my adult life to where I can't regulate myself with anything. But the thing is I'm adult now, so I can, and I notice what I just said. I'm self-aware of it. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, like I was saying, the second another person wants to have a say, that's just when it stops for me. And I wish it didn't. I wish I could just take the words of others and go with it. But it's just got to be something I want to do, you know? Because I feel like I want to be the person to blame. Because, you know, I think this kind of honestly translates to a lot of my life. Whenever there's a mistake and people are getting mad around me at other people, honestly, most of the time, I'm just like, I'll take it. I can take it. I've been taking it. You know? Don't sit on something for me because I know how to do it. And I understand a lot of people want to help. I really do. But because of how I think, a lot of the time, I don't want other people to help me. And what I think I mean by that is like, if somebody else thought how I thought about me and was me, I think that what would happen is I would just kind of be like, yeah, let's do A, B, and C. Let's not talk about it because what you're going through doesn't affect me, and it doesn't. Referring to viewer, audience member, to family even. What I do doesn't affect you. And but the thing that I've realized getting older is what I do does affect me. Um and I think for a lot of people you just have to discover those small things by yourself. Because there have been times in my past where it's just like literally I will argue with someone till I'm crying or they're crying. Cuz I feel wronged, and if I can't get them to take accountability, well, shit. I might as well be the fucking villain in this story then. If I'm not going to be given a title of wrong or right, I'll take the title of being wrong if no one else will. Because clearly, you, hypothetical person, you want a reaction out of me. I'll give you that reaction, okay? It's not going to be what you want it to be because I want you to be unsatisfied. You make comments on my life all the time. You think you know what's better, but in fact, you do not. I live with me 24/7. You and the rest of the world, mom, dad, sisters, friends, family, everybody, all of you, none of you, no one watching this, nobody knows me better than me. And I know a lot of people are out there like, well, some people have a different situation. Yeah, those people are lucky that they can say somebody knows them like that. I wish I had friends who knew me inside and out. But the thing is every time I've had a friend like that, it always leaves. It never sticks around. And whenever I have had a friend who is willing to open up to me, or vice versa, most of the time, when I reveal all of me to someone, there is just blowback about how I am, how I think, how I choose to be. So I don't. I simply don't with those people. I don't interact about certain things. I don't. Because I can't. Just like when it comes to talking about certain job topics and stuff. Like, I don't think they're gonna watch this far into this, and if they are, that's kind of flattering almost. But one example would be a couple of my friends are trying to get me back into the customer service world. Did that for 5 years. Became insanely SUS idol. I don't know what the algorithm likes and doesn't like, but I became very S word feely when I worked in retail customer service, and yeah, it took me a long time to actually find a new job and get out of it. And so recently also, my boss was fired at work, which is a great thing. Which is a great thing. And so it's like I'm finally at a place where I can exist. I just want to exist sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I just want to exist. Because when I come home at night and I'm doing stuff like this is existing, but in the third person, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm recording it. Um, I don't know. That silence right there that just happened. I was just breathing in. And it was needed. Because they are trying to say, they're like, the first idea that was given to me was working at Costco. And I've worked in grocery store chains before, and this is no knock to Costco. I'm sure you're a great business, but um, I can't do that job again. I remember when I was doing my old job, when I was working at Kroger, I would wake up at 4 in the morning, and my eyes would start to turn bloodshot red. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I was doing that job, hating my life, there's no part of me that wanted to be me anymore. I wasn't streaming when I had these jobs, wasn't doing anything. Um, to name off a list of customer service work jobs that I've done, it goes from teaching to working in a restaurant to being a store manager of a Dollar General to working at Kroger to also working at Goodwill. And I did all these places for about a year and a half to a year each. Or a couple of them probably half a year. Um, but the reason why I don't want to go back into these job fields is like I was saying, I don't feel comfortable talking to my friends about this kind of stuff because I feel like it'll turn into arguments, and I hate arguments because why are we fighting about something that you're making an argument for? It's like I understand my friends want me to be better, but I don't want them to think I'm using the S word as an excuse. You know? And it sucks not making as much money for sure, being a janitor. But at least when I come home and I look at my dog and stuff, I don't think, what if I took myself away? What if I did that? What if I did that? I would have those thoughts all the time when I was working customer service. I mean, I would never do it, of course. I've been affected by that in my real life. Uh, yeah, it sucks. Gotta move on from it. But even then, like I was saying, when I was in customer service, it was at the forefront of my brain. You know, like in animes when you see like the thing on their side of their head that's like it looks like a hashtag but like red and like an italic. That's me. And yeah, no, it's a monster. Customer service is a monster. Human beings are monsters. You know? Like a lot of time people are like, "Oh yeah, you got to remember the human being is an animal." Sometimes it's also more than that. Sometimes it's worse. But yeah, no, I can't personally say that obviously I like taking a tolerance break and all that. But whenever I do, it definitely calls back into action like my mental health and stuff like that more. Because man, I did it even without thinking about it. I did it without even thinking about it. The reason why I can't go back into customer service, I don't even realize myself trying to get myself off these topics. But yeah, I just feel like the feelings that I have will be looked at as crass, weird, and overstepping lines. And I don't want to offend someone who's been affected by the same thing because I responded to it in a different way, I guess. So it's like if I would get into a conversation with somebody who is saying shit like that, I really try to think from like where I'm thinking from. Cause fuck, I didn't ask for my mind to be a labyrinth when I was born, but I think I got one. And sadly, not in the way my parents wanted. They wanted some super robotic engineer, and instead they got the funny autistic child. Also, because I have a feeling some of my weird family members are going to be watching this. Autism's not a bad thing. Just because you gave it to me, mom, doesn't make it mean it's a bad thing. All right? You, my mom, have learned to mask and probably don't even think to yourself in any way that you would have that. But it's not a bad thing. It's part of yourself. It's part of me. It's part of all of us. And if it's not a part of you, you're a part of you. How do you pick on my drift sister? But this is just the first episode of Tolerance Break. I will be recording one of these under this name, hopefully once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And because I am just doing chemical clean out, that will be 2 weeks of podcasts where I am probably talking about that, talking about more serious things. But more than anything, I just wanted to start it. I really did just want to start it. But yeah, to kind of show off the rest of the studio tour here, let's go here. And then for if you want to watch things or go on the web, ooh wee, ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bing bang. Right there. Look at that. Look how smooth she looks. Wow. But, alright, addicts. All right, addicts. Thank you guys for sticking all the way through. Thank you for hanging out with me. Um, I want to turn this into something for myself specifically, tolerance break. At one point, I do want to do something kind of like in the same vein as Alcoholics Anonymous, but for just everything, I guess. And that's why that podcast title, blanket title, will be Everyone's Anonymous. And then basically, let's show off that background again. I want to do for when if I'm ever like in an area where you can't like drink or anything, you know what I'm saying, or smoke. I mean, uh, here's bubble buds. If I want to like drink with a buddy, puff buds for getting lit with your friends. Then we got tolerance break for me, for maybe even talking to other people in person about going on a tolerance break. And then everyone's anonymous will be with me, along with somebody who calls in or leaves a voicemail, something along that line. Um, yeah. Have a good fucking night. Subscribe and like and all that good shit. I want to make this my life career, so yeah, I want to do everything. Listen, that one guy that you watch that's a successful stand-up comedian, I want to do everything he does, but I want to do it better. I'm going to. All right, y'all. Oh, I didn't realize I was on this one. Like I was saying, like, subscribe, all that good shit, and I will see you. Wait, I feel like we should have outro music. Go out with what we came on. Like, subscribe, leave a comment talking about your favorite munchie, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep those lips plump, and keep your ass lumpy. You don't know what I'm saying. No one's watching at this point of the video, right? Let's vibe out. I'm instantly going to bed after this, so I don't have to live in my own reality about not being able to smoke, because I'm just gonna go to bed now.